Well, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I want to welcome everybody to our Sunday service, like Joe says, brought to you here today from Zoom Productions. I'm your host on this 23rd day of May. My name is Missy Higginbotham, and I want to welcome all our visitors. And I see in Judy's backyard, we do have 2 new visitors. So thank you for coming. And we hope you come back again. And we want to welcome all our visitors, guests, and newcomers, and we're a community that speaks and loves from the heart. So we hope you come back again. Today is the 23rd of May, and 2021, it's the year of manifesting. Our themes for May are healing is knowing the truth, spiritual human is already healed, and releasing the negative. So take a quick sip of your coffee or your water. Take a deep breath. Feel that spark within your heart space as you settle back down in your chair. And listen to the music of cedar as we settle into the heart space, into the space of meditation, the time to be still and go into your inner space and commune with the God space within. Allow the heartstrings of the song of the flute to settle within your heart space and flow through your body into the earth so you can root like the trees, and the branches of the trees lift up towards God's source and within you and as you. So that within you, as the spark grows and the song reaches out to all, that this wholeness is the healing and the truth of all you are. The knowing that you are whole within the song. And that out within the song, as the song goes out within your heart, as the song goes out from your heart like the trees and its branches, that it releases the negative. And in this knowingness and in this rootiness within the earth, we know that all is well and truly in divine order, for we are one with all there is. But mostly, the all there is God, with us, for us, and as us. And so we let it be so, and so it is. And now we ask the Reverend Jenny Evans to give us our spiritual thought for the day.
Good morning, everybody. Years ago, I read the teachings of the masters of the Far East, and I had visions of doing some of those miracles that the masters did in those books. Some of them were being walking through forest fires, walking on the top of raging rivers, dematerializing my body and showing up hundreds of miles away minutes later. Light and food and heat without our conventional methods of getting those things, having buildings keep themselves clean and in repair, all without any work on my part, which I personally loved. And it is something that I sense in myself that is within me, that those things are possible for me to do at some point in my evolution. And so I came across something fun this week, and maybe those of you, and especially Sandy, those of you who have studied psychology probably have heard of this, but it's called Maslow's hierarchy of need. And those who've studied it, I'm sure you're aware of it, but there's 5 levels and it's a pyramid shape. And it starts out with the basic needs of shelter and food and a place to be safe. The next one is needs of security. The third is belonging and love, those needs. The fourth one is the self-esteem needs that we have. And then finally, and the one that interested me most, was the one of self-actualization, which is something that I know that we're all pursuing actively. And that means to achieve ourselves and our full potential, our spiritual potential, which is what our terms that our phrases that we're working with this month are indicative of, because healing means being whole and complete. But one of the definitions that I really aspired to was that the self-actualized self is the self that is illuminated in its deepest, most inner, subtle self. It's deeper than the mind, the body, the intellect, the id, or the ego. And it is the spiritual self or the soul. So we are already, when our topic is spiritual man, woman is already healed, means that we already have those components of wholeness within us. And we have the opportunity, it gave me an opportunity to have a sense of appreciation for the fact that in the United States and the life that I've lived up to this point in time has given me the freedom to actually seek out those methods of thinking that would allow me to reach to my self-actualization. And so that would free me from the quote unquote dis-ease of my previous mindset, the mindset that I see in a lot of people who don't pursue these kinds of changing our thinking. And they don't even consider the fact that possibly changing the way they think could change their lives. And it doesn't necessarily free us from our physical manifestations. In fact, I've become completely suspicious recently that the pain that I experience in my hips and knees and whatnot are actually a manifestation of my fear that I have walked with and tried to disentangle myself with all these years. And that can it be healed? Of course it can. Because if I am one with all there is, and I am complete wholeness in spiritual form, then that way I can download and manifest whatever it is that I choose to be or become from spirit, because spirit is all there is. There is only the one power that works in me, as me, and through me. So all those things are completely possible. In Paul Selig's book, The Book of Freedom, he opens me to another tool to help me reshape the thinking, because on my own, I really can't reconceive notions necessarily without me studying for some reason. And of course, the studying helps me to just tweak my thinking just a little bit in order to let something new in, which then helps me reshape areas of myself that I can't. It seems like my fear is sort of like an invasive vine, that gets me all tangled up. And I sometimes get caught up in the illusion of it and can't seem to break free. But then suddenly I'll have a moment of clarity. For example, a very wise and old friend told me, he said, what you've done in your life up to now and future does not define ultimately who you are. And I was so grateful for those wonderful little bits of wisdom that come my way from time to time that help me step out of myself and to be refreshed in terms of who and what I am, beyond my small self's thinking. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So he says the divine is what you are must be revealed to you beyond what you think it is or think it should be, for it to be known in fullness. So with the help of our higher self, our soul, we move up that divine path through experience, which includes suffering, to bring us those epiphanies to help open us up to new ways of thinking and to have us a better understanding to all that is and what we are. Because I don't know about you guys, but in my lifestyle, it has been such a blasphemous thing to think that Jesus is my brother as opposed to my superior, that, I am a child of God, meaning that I have all of the inheritance that comes with that, and that I am deserving of all that is, all of the gifts, all of the epiphanies, all of the joy, all of the things that my senses can bring to in a higher octave. There is no shame in that. And yet I have felt appalled by some of the shaming that's gone on in terms of claiming your divine rights. So I have to say that I sort of keep that sort of stuff quiet because, no, I don't really like people giving me the evil eye, because they believe differently than I do. So for me, I'm coming to terms, seeking continual tools. Thank God for religious science and for all the places that I have looked and sought out those beautiful epiphanies and wisdoms of truth that have come down through the centuries of those who are more evolved than me, in order to help me in this great wrestling match I'm having with my fear and my mistrust of the universe. That I've always, as much as I work on my thinking, I still fear the boogeyman's going to step out and scare me, or the second shoe's going to fall and all of those other things, so that I can just stand in that knowing of who I am, watch the universe working, watch all of nature unfolding as it does for its highest good beyond my greater understanding, for the pure perfection that I know that it is. I don't get it. I don't understand all of it. I don't see all of that because my vision is too small. But I do trust better every single day that the universe is complete. It is perfect in its own evolutionary requirements. It has all the components. And here I am, this little drop of the ocean in the magnificent ocean, that I'm a part of it. It is me. It is in me. It moves through me. And I can be a part of that and move past this dis-ease of thinking that causes me so much trouble. It causes me just trip and fall and rethink it and move on and cry and snivel and whine and all the other things that we do, so that I can become a mature adult child of God, ready to be in service to that which needs me in whatever way it needs me. And I can go into that braced with strength and trust and my heart wide open to love all that is, and to just maybe shine a tiny light somewhere where somebody needs it. So there you have it. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's always nice to be reminded that experiences and what we've done is just that, ideas, doings, experiences. It's not who we truly are. It's just brought us to where we are today. And thank you for that reminder. Cedar, would you please give us some more of your wonderful music? And I want to let you know it was what you did for meditation. It was lovely. And I look forward to what you have for us now in this part of the service.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hi from Ireland. It is now like whatever time it is. I have the 24-hour clock I have to get used to on my computer. But oh yeah, my computer, thank you so much to everyone who donated towards my computer. It is wonderful. It's exactly what I need, and it's serving me really well during my school. And so I was experimenting with some whistle stuff, so this is a little percussive thing, and I hope you enjoy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And that was the wonderful Cedar Dobson, brought to you live from Ireland. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And now, next on our program is our wonderful speaker for today is Joe Bull.
Thank you, Missy. Good morning, everyone. Cedar, thank you. You just lift me with your music. Luana and I are both just rocking over here, enjoying everything you do. It's wonderful. And thank you, Reverend Jenny, for your thoughts this morning. Because yes, we do have our humanness that sometimes get in the way of our ability or our willingness to try to get past something that comes up. We do this all the time as humans, I think. And healing is knowing the truth. First of all, in New Thought teachings, Phineas Quimby was considered the earliest known proponent of this fabulous movement called New Thought. There are a variety of beliefs and views and styles within this movement, but they are all linked with one idea, that our mind, our faith, and our belief can help heal us of anything, from physical disease to mental anguish or disease, and to help lift us up to the realization that all is well with it as we see it, as we think that. Mind, spirit, and physical are all considered able to be healed for when we believe it to be. The core values and tenets are infinite intelligence, meaning God, of course, is omnipotent and omnipresent. The spirit in us all is the ultimate reality in the world. Human selfhood is divine. The origin for all diseases is mental. Right and positive thinking has healing effects, and divine attuned thoughts is a positive force. But by the way, what I really love about New Thought teachings is that it does not oppose medical science. Doctors and surgeons are considered divine spiritual healers in New Thought. When I have had surgery to repair a physical injury or illness, I know that all this is one divine healing taking place, and the outcome is positive based on my belief. When I have had the opportunity to sit and talk with my own doctor or a surgeon, if you're going to have a surgeon, is I find out that they are all very spiritual people. And knowing that I've got that spiritual human being with me during this course of getting over this injury or illness, I just feel totally confident knowing that God's hand is in that. When it comes right down to it, science of mind is about healing, and healing is essentially a return to truth. This means that we move back into alignment with our deepest truth, the perfection of the soul from whatever condition or suffering that we may have manifested. We come into the realization and manifestation of health, of abundance, of joy, of peace and love. All of this is transitory in our experience because we can manifest sufficient good to enjoy our lives and to be contributors to the general good of ourselves and everyone else. In healing with the mind, no greater good can come to us than to know the power already within us is the power to live, the power to create, the power to heal. We co-create with God. I really believe this. Not only do we co-create for ourselves, but to create for others, such as our healing circle service right here at the PLC, the group prayer that we do through the PLC. The power to do good, the power to heal, the power of prosper. That is from Ernest Holmes, directly our founder from the Science of Mind. The manifestation of health or any other good is the result of the development of a consciousness of receptivity to health or any other good we want. When we open up to it and believe in it, it's coming to us. We know this. We develop the consciousness by directing our thoughts and feelings toward the expectation of that good. Excuse me. We do this often enough that we come to expect good to be our result. And when good comes from this consciousness, we celebrate it with ourselves and others, I hope. I love to celebrate with someone who says, guess what happened to me? And I'm going, please share with me. And then I get to enjoy what your success is at the same time. This becomes our belief system. We don't make the world around us change. We shift our relationship to what is in the world. And in doing so, we create a different experience of life for ourselves and others. A side effect may be that we influence others to change their beliefs through their own thought processes as a result of their interpretation of our actions or our way of being, but the focus is always on one's own consciousness. Ram Dass, he was an American spiritual teacher. I think you may have heard of him. If you get a chance, look him up on Google and you'll get to read more about what he has to say. Very spiritual person. He said, healing does not mean going back to the way things were before, but rather allowing what is now to move us closer to God. In order to facilitate healing in myself or another, I do not need to know where the illness or injury came from. I only need to know that the existing condition is a fact and not a spiritual reality. That my mind can access a greater power than the condition, because as we know, the condition has no power unless we give it power. And I know that the condition is dissolved and replaced with a condition of health. I want to understand the underlying cause of this condition to see if there is a lesson to be learned. Then I want to let it go, as I say so often. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, a healing is done through spiritual mind treatment. This we know. Once we have a prayer treatment, always feel in our mind that it is done, complete and perfect, and give thanks for that answer. Every time I talk with God about, God, this is too big for me. It's bigger than I am, but nothing's bigger than you. And God, I'll pray up for God, and I'll release and let it go. And I always receive an answer. Maybe not the answer I was looking for. Maybe it doesn't come in the shape or form that I was hoping for, but I get an answer or response. Dr. Holmes also said the treatment should be repeated daily until a healing takes place. He said if it takes 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, then so be it. I have seen demonstrations of healings for many people and of course for myself. I always say, thank you, God, for that. If I don't get a healing for myself within 5 days, I rethink my treatment and I receive my answer. I'm not sure about you, but I don't want to wait 5 years for my response. Spiritual mind healing. This is right out of the Science of Mind textbook. It has taken humanity thousands of years to learn that it has the power to control its own destiny. From the Bible, we have the assurance, as a person thinketh in the heart, so is he or she. Aristotle said, what we expect, that we find. And William Shakespeare said, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. In our modern day teachings today, we accept the slogan, he can who thinks he can. Testimony from so many human beings tells us that bodily healings of all manner of sickness by mental and spiritual means is a fact. Physicians are now constantly studying mental phenomenon and mental processes. The mental realm of healing is becoming more and more recognized as a legitimate and useful healing agent. The first principle fundamental to the understanding of the operation of thought is that we are surrounded by an infinite intelligence. The possibility of healing physical disease, changing environment, attracting friends, and demonstrating supply through the power of right thinking rest entirely on the theory that we are surrounded by an infinite mind, which reacts to our thoughts according to law. Jesus said, you remember him, right? Yeah, Jesus said he understood infinite wisdom and intelligence. He said, it is done unto you as you believe. This we know. This great power that we all possess is done unto us. It's already here for us. All we need to do is let this power operate through us. We use the power of the one mind which creates for us or with us. Everything is already here for us. All we must do is use it. This is where faith comes in. Prayer, faith, and belief are closely related mental attitudes. Faith is recognized as a power, whether it be faith in God, faith in fellow man, in oneself, or in what one is doing. Yes, faith has to do with our religious experience, but always the person who has faith in their own ability accomplishes more than one who has no confidence in themselves. Why is it that one person's prayers are answered and maybe another person's is not answered? It must be that all persons in their approach to reality receive results, not because of what they believe in, but because of their belief, of our belief. We have recorded throughout history many instances of healings through faith. This is an undisputed fact. We must remember that prayer is not an end of itself, it is a means to an end. The principle governing faith is that when the one praying becomes convinced his or her prayer will be answered, our mind, our faith, our belief will heal anything and bring us all of everything. Spirituality is natural goodness. God is not a person, God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing, it is the atmosphere of God. Presents goodness, truth, and beauty for us. We like to help ourselves and each other through the law of mind. This we can do through treatment. And what is a treatment? It is something our minds become aware of. The Spirit of God is everything, but our mind must accept, not reject. We all have the power to do everything we want, but if we do not believe we can do it, it does not happen. The mind will demonstrate to us what we believe. Remember, we are life. Life is strong. Life knows how to heal itself, and we know how to heal ourselves. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You know, Joe, I really love that. It reminded me years ago when I was first learning about spiritual mind treatment and asking for spiritual mind treatment, and you brought that up so clearly because I had asked a practitioner about to do treatment because I was having an issue. And you talk so clearly about the power of allowing and saying yes. And the practitioner said to ride on my belief, let me know for you, just let go and allow me to know for you. And yes. And that was so, I mean, you said that so clearly, and it's when you do treatment and for the church and people need treatment, I think that's something that everybody in church, I want to reiterate, that all of us need treatment at some time or another, and sometimes we just can't know for ourselves. And Joe said it so clearly that, hey, sometimes, you need to allow others to know for you and to ride on our belief. And thank you for bringing that. I mean, that just yes. brought it so clearly forward.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Missy.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the power of what our practitioners do for the church. They hold the belief, they hold the knowing when the rest of us can't, when we don't. And that's the power. That's the power of prayer. That's the power of what this church can do for each of the members, is they hold the knowingness for you when you can't do it yourself. So please, and please get, Joe is the head of our practitioners. So if you ever need prayer, or treatment, get with Joe and he will send it out to the practitioner team. I know this is out of sequence, but it just seemed the perfect time to say that, Joe. So thank you again. Now's the time for our offertory, and in the chat box I just put both where you can send your donations and the offertory prayer. So if offertory blessings, so if all of you can join me in saying our offertory prayer as we bless, and because as we bless our donations, it returns to us multiplied. Divine love through me, flowing through me, blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. And also in our weekly iFocus, there's also donation button, and tells you where you can, where you can send donations also to it. Other announcements. I guess this is the time for announcements.
Yes, let's start with Angie has a really exciting one to give us. So please start with Angie's.
Okay, Angie.
Yes, I want to thank Judy DeRosa for being the mentor and teacher for Brenda Negley. She's completed all of the intensive work to have an interfaith ministry credential. And Judy, do you have anything to say about that? I know you're out there. Unmute yourself, Judy.
Thank you, Angelo. Brenda was diligent and really dedicated to all of the studies and the writing and the deep thought and communication that it took to get her ministerial degree and to get her doctorate. She's up hiking in Yosemite right now doing something that she really loves, and she's got time to do that now. But I wanted to thank you, Angelo, for all your guidance and the open mind of including healing as a topic for our church, and also including the indigenous. And I'm working on a women's studies as a class. So thank you, Angelo, for what you have done for all of us. Brenda is brilliant.
Thank you, Judy. Your energy and wisdom meant a lot to her. Thank you.
And speaking of Judy DeRosa, I just put in the chat box, we have a heart-to-heart team, and they're ready to partner with you, whether you need to talk, request prayer work, or seek support for any other needs you might have. Judy's is in charge of our heart-to-heart team. So I put her information in the chat box just now. So please avail yourself if you need that. Any other announcements from our members? Oh, Laura.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I'm not getting anything in the chat box. You keep saying you're putting stuff in the chat box that's not there. At least I can't see it. So just letting you know.
Okay, well, I have been putting it in, so I don't know why you're not seeing it.
Can
I'm-
see
I'm
it in mine, so I don't know.
You can
why.
see it? Okay, maybe there's something wrong on my end then. Okay, good.
Well, it's in the iFocus. If you don't see it in the chat
I
box,
know,
it's in the
I know.
iFocus. So please see your weekly iFocus, and it's in there.
Yes.
And by the way, also every week we record these, and within a couple of hours afterwards, I try to upload it to. It takes a while to upload it to YouTube, but I do upload it to the PLC YouTube channel, so you can find it in there. And Reverend Jenny Evans today is the practitioner of the day, and next week's speaker is our Reverend L.J. Bull. Yes, she's our newest minister for the Positive Living Center. Yes, yes. For
Yay.
those that weren't here last week, she is has received her ministerial. So we want to, yay!
Hey, look forward to it.
Are there any other announcements? If not, we will ask Sandy, Reverend Sandy, to give us our closing treatment.
Oh, there is only God. And knowing this, we go forth today full of good cheer and fellowship, full of community, full of the love that comes through all the words and all the songs that we learn here. Source is such a beautiful energy, and it comes down and flows and loves and invigorates. Take this with you as you go out into the spring around you, seeing the new growth, the blossoms, the wildflowers. It all matters. It is all the part of this beautiful creation where we live. I accept that we are happy where we are, that we come to terms with who and what we are, that we allow the presence of healing. And I give such glorious thanks for all that we are and all we are becoming. And say with me, please, and so it is.
And so it is.
Oh, LJ, Reverend LJ,